Stop the violence. All this violent media, I'm not even calling it art, because it's the opposite of art. I'm calling it media. Video games, movies, shows, songs. Waste. Complete waste. GTA 6, waste. They should just literally stop making that game. Like, imagine being one of the developers and you're sitting at your computer for months, coding, rendering, building gore, and trying to make it look so realistic. You're like, oh my god, it looks so good. Little kids who draw stick figures getting murked, get sent to the office and considered for psychiatric treatment. Developers making these waste games that are like literally pure waste. Like, think of GTA 6. Think of that franchise. It's literally waste. It's literally waste. And they get paid for it. For their gore porn. Violent like all you actors, musicians, directors, writers, like, don't code that waste video game. Don't write that waste lyric. Don't accept that waste role. You think I'm watching anything anymore that's violent? Directors, don't film that waste movie. Writers, don't write that waste script. They just want their $50 million check an actor, so they accept a waste role. You gotta just say, no, I'm not accepting such a waste role. Do something more creative. There's no creativity in writing all this murder and crime and stuff. It's the opposite of creativity. Like, it's all waste. There's so many ways to be more creative. Do you think I'm watching that Tilo show? I haven't seen anything. John Wick 4. I saw the last 3. 4 no. Like, I've reached a state of love, a point of love just recently, where, like that, all that shit became trash. Instantly just trash. Tarantino, all his whole catalog, trash. Just became trash in a second. Refn, and these directors I loved, especially Refn. I loved his art style, but because there's some art in it, but when the violent stuff comes in, it's just pure trash. So he ruined it. Just his whole thing, trash. I was gonna watch Copenhagen Cowboy. Trash, I'm not even watching it. Like, every season of a show that I was watching that was violent, there's like new seasons coming out, I'm not even gonna watch them. I just can't. I'm at a point where I can't. Like, it'll just ruin what I worked towards. Like, I ask you to stop consuming violent media for a week and a half, 2 weeks. Watch the withdrawals that come up. Watch the urges that are, I need to see something violent. I need to see something, I need to play something violent. And then accept those urges for another week and a half, 2 weeks, and then watch how you're sick of anything violent. Maybe for another year, half a year. When you get there, it'll probably come up again and tempt you. Go through that withdrawal. That's just another stealthy withdrawal that was hiding the whole time, ready to pounce. But it's weaker that time, so just go right through it. Trust, it's waste. It's all waste. It's all waste. All the violent media is pure waste. Like, I get it. FPS, shooter, point A to point B, third person, wow, do this, kill this, do this, kill this, do this, kill this. Like, it's like when NES and SNES, like it was Super Mario and Zelda, okay? That's it. Every other game was just Super Mario and Zelda with another skin on top, okay? Today, it was first persons and third persons. Every bugging game is a first person, third person with another skin. And they're just like, how much gore can we make? It has to look like real gore. Like, it's just so waste. Like, you're using your time to make the gore look real. Like, how much of a fag are you to do that? There's so many, like, that's not art. That's the opposite of creativity. That's destruction. Like, be more creative. Like, all these movies, like, a gun. Like, why does a gun come out of nowhere, bro? Like, there's these movies that are just, have nothing to do with a gun or violence, and then out of nowhere, a gun has to show up. It's like, bro, way to kill the whole vibe. Like, why did you need a gun to come in this movie for? Because you thought it would engage the audience more? Because you wanted to touch a prop gun, and you just needed to do it and use an excuse to have a gun in it? Let me tell you, at this point in life, the gun coming out in the movie is disengaging. It disengages. Completely disengages. Like, there's 3 chess media on Netflix, okay? Chess. Brothers and sisters. Chess, okay? Queen's Gambit, the show, and then 2 chess movies. 2 out of the 3, a gun comes out of nowhere and murder. Bro, it's chess. Why does a gun and murders have to happen? Like, we're so waste. We do such waste, like, bro, it's chess. Queen's Gambit was good because not a single violent thing happened. And that's what was engaging. Like, imagine we're in a place where it's engaging that you could make a whole movie or song without a violent thing happening. Like, taking the freestyles that I do, there's like no violent thing that happens in them. And I'll tell you the truth, it's harder. It's harder to freestyle with nothing violent and all loving and teaching and healthy statements. Because so long we've been hearing, I clapped the man with the AK. Like, where did the AK come from in your, like, why did the AK pop out? Like, you're freestyling and the AK pops out. Like, why? Like, why does the AK come out? Like, bro, just freestyle. Like, I don't need the AK to pop out. Where did the AK come from? Like, these GTA waste things where the AK just pops in your hand. That's what happens in these freestyles. It's like, it's like drugs, sexual violence, physical violence, being an idiot. And I'll tell you, that is so easy to freestyle. Try freestyling with all loving terms, all God terms. Watch how much withdrawals come up and how hard it is to get your mind and heart and soul back into the picture, back into the true picture. Like, I emailed Nicholas Winding Refn. I'll put that email up because I emailed Refn and I sent the same thing to Tarantino. I email a lot of people. I actually emailed Ubisoft a long time ago. And I told them to make an Assassin's Creed called AC Buddha. Assassin's Creed Buddha. And it takes place in the Buddha era. And the whole point of the game is the assassin gradually stops being violent. Because being in the presence of the Buddha, he just can't. Like, that was literally what the game was about. Like, you'll try to, like, assassinate someone and the blade will break. Or, like, people will try to assassinate Buddha and they can't do it. And you try to protect him. And every time you try to, like, kill them, something happens where it doesn't work. So slowly, gradually, the Buddha is getting more powerful, and in his presence, like in his aura, the assassin can't commit violence, even though he's like tempted to, and then eventually he stops being tempted to, and eventually he just becomes like a monk at the end. That's what happens. And there's a sea of orange. It looks like a big sea of orange, like warping and waving like an LSD trip, and then the camera zooming in, and you start seeing its heads, like shaved heads and orange people in orange robes, and it's like there's like thousands of them all sitting in meditation, and it zooms in, and goes right into the top of one of their heads, and then it ends, and like you're supposed to know that that was the assassin. And the Buddha in that was supposed to be like the animus himself. Like he sends you back in time, and he puts you like you don't need the animus. The Buddha was gonna do it for this guy. Basically, the Buddha is just teaching him to stop because violence is cracked. And the Buddha has all the powers of the apple and stuff by himself without the apple. And I get an email back, oh, we don't take solicitations. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you don't take. This idea is sick, because fuck violence. And you don't even have to credit me. Like, just fucking do it. Or just put DeVonQi somewhere randomly in the credits. Special thanks. Or like, don't do anything. He's like, no, we still don't take a solicitation and we don't do it. I'm like, you just took my solicitation, so fuck off. I'm sorry I said that. Unfuck off. Unfuck on. Anyway. Damn. So yeah, I don't know. That'd be cool if that Buddha thing comes out. And that was years ago. That was when I was still watching violent things. But like I was gradually coming to, right? I was coming to the love. Coming to God, coming to oneness. Coming to the truth of the waste. I emailed, this was like what? A week ago, I emailed Nicholas Winding Refn. I searched his contact, Nicholas Winding Refn. His Instagram came up. I'm like, nah, I don't have Instagram. Well, I had it, but like I don't use it, and it's deleted. Like I could go back on it because I used it to message someone, but then I just like found his agent. So I just like, bro, get this to Nick. I'll put the email up. Basically, I told him, bro, it's waste. Violence is waste. When you reach this state of love, it all becomes waste. Your entire, I told him, like, your entire catalog, just at a snap of a finger, became trash. And, like, just stop. Like, just stop. Just stop. Like, I told him, like, I love your art. But when it's violent, you just ruin it. Like, I was gonna watch Copenhagen Cowboy, but you ruined it, so I'm not even gonna watch it. And then, like, as I was looking for his contact information, an interview of his came up where he said, Hollywood is in desperate shambles or something. And I was like, I mentioned that, I'm like, Hollywood is in desperate shambles because we're sick of violent waste, like we're growing out of it, right? I told him, yo, make a dog movie. I said, I'm telling you, Nick, make a reffin' dog movie. Like, you know those doggo adventure movies? I'm like, family-friendly doggo movie, no violence, make that. A reffin' doggo movie. I said, trust me. Trust me. Like, because everyone gets influenced by, like, Tarantino and Reffin, right? And they try to copy them. It's like, bro, if you do this dog movie, you're gonna change everything. You're gonna try to copy that. Like, we're sick of violence. I said other things, I forgot. And then I went to Quentin Tarantino. This time I couldn't find his agent because he's like bigger, I guess. Like, I didn't know which one was real. So I'm like, I'm just gonna DM him directly. So I went on Instagram and I don't have the message anymore, which sucks. Because I deleted it. But I wrote, you're next. Pointing emoji. Capital, you're next. Pointing emoji. And I'm like, I said this to Nick. This exact stuff. But I'm gonna copy and paste the email to you and just change the names around. So where I said Nick, I put Quentin. Where I put, Tarantino. So it's like, make a Tarantino dog movie, right? I'm telling you. And I told him, I mentioned him, I'm like, well, I can mention him this part too, because a long time ago, I emailed who I thought was Tarantino's agent. This was before the Ubisoft email. And I told him, yo, Tarantino, Quentin, you gotta make a movie about Jules Winfield and where he is now. Because remember he said, I'm gonna walk the earth, and he became a man of God and all that. And I said, yo, Tarantino, make a movie called Man of God or something. I don't know if I said the title. Cast Samuel Jackson and just show him what he's doing now as Jules Winfield as a man of God. And there's no violence in it, and he's just a holy man. And his environment's different because he's with God, okay? I said that, but I don't know if he ever got that. So I just mentioned it again in the DM. Yeah, and I was like telling him, it's waste. I reached a state of love where all your effort, your sweat, tears, blood, all the grinding you did to grind and ignore God, all those spirits and angels pushing your hand away from writing this violent stuff, you fought with your will to continue writing this shit and film this shit. All that effort you put in, that all became instant trash when I reached the point of love. And I'm like, that's the power of love. That's what love does. And I told them, it's not art. What you guys are doing is the opposite of art. It's literally the opposite of art. It's not creative. Be more creative. Try to write something with no violence. Look how hard it is because of all the violence we've been consuming. But also watch how rewarding and nourishing it is when you do it. You start breaking open pathways and stuff. When I was rapping, that was my first freestyle with the saying all that loving things in the past videos. I was cracking open. I was blossoming out. So much vocabulary, synapses opening to help the soul. Actually, funny thing, this book I'm reading, I was reading the back right before. Oh no, I think it's in the middle. Actually, maybe it's in the back. It actually says right here, oh no, it's somewhere in the book, but it's I think I just saw somewhere in the middle of the book, flipping through the pages. Pythagoras would cure people. His medicinal treatment to certain people's diseases, he would just read them poetry because he knew. So that's funny that I just remembered that. He just knew combinations of words nourish everything. So people who think like, oh, violent material doesn't cause violence, it does. Believe it or not, it does. Maybe not in you at the time. Maybe you're not gonna play like a violent video game and then go out and kill someone, but you're suppressing it, and all that energy being suppressed with all these people who believe, oh, it doesn't cause violence, it doesn't cause violence. Where do you think all that energy is going? To someone. Someone is gonna take it. Someone is gonna dish it out. So yes, it does cause violence. If we had no violent media, imagine. That's why I'm like, yo, you big directors, do a dog movie. Like literally every single thing you made, a gun pops out. Like these guns that pop out. Do a fucking Refn Tarantino collab dog movie. Watch what the earth does after that. Like, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Just like, oh yeah, I told them like, you're literally betting on people not evolving past enjoying violence. Like, because you want that check or something, or you think it's cool. It's not cool. It's literally not cool. What I'm feeling now about it is what everyone on the planet, and a lot of us do, but what everyone in the universe eventually is going to feel about it, and what the creators of these things are going to feel about it as well. Trash. I made trash. And I did write a script about Tilo. It was based on Tilo, The Last of Us. It was called The Rise of Them. And it took place like 25 years after everything. And it's about hunters and fireflies. And I wrote the most, like these two crews are chilling, right? And then they meet each other. It's just a short film. They meet, like accidentally. The fireflies are just walking around and they come across each other. And then it's like a few minutes of the most violent, gore porn, sick shit you'll ever watch. And I'll tell you why I wrote this. I wrote this on purpose, but like I don't even know if I'm gonna do anything with it. But the thing is, here in Calgary, they were filming Tilo. So I ran to the set and I tried to give my script. But no one was there to accept the script, so I just ran back home and emailed or like made an Instagram account and DM'd the whole team, Druckmann and everyone, and tried to give my script. And the art director took it and he read it. Anyway, see, like, and then like the fame they get and applaud and a praise, it makes it so much harder for them to realize that what they're making is a waste. And it's like you're only famous to like, thank you for satisfying my violent urges. Like you're famous to that. That's all you're famous to. You're not famous to me. You're not famous to me. You'll be famous to me if you realize it's waste. But the point of my script is, I wrote the script years ago, maybe 2014. And that was around when I started being like, violence stuff is waste. Because yes, I wrote that it's the most violent-ish you'll witness. And like this had to be rated X for violence when they're all fighting. And the point of it is, one person survives at the end, one firefly, and the hunters were chilling in a movie theater, like ironically. The That was their base. And they were playing chess. I remember. And the chessboard, the pieces on the chessboard were set up the same way as the greatest game ever played. Because it's supposed to show how like super hyper smart they are and aware and hyper like vigilant. They're supposed to be like humans that are super, like all their senses are just enhanced because of the world they live in. Not in like a loving way, enhanced in a paranoid way. But like now that I think of it, I feel like you can't be that. Because like I said that they see like a hawk, they hear like a fox. Like their senses are so keen. Because like at any time they could die. But I feel like you can't have those good of senses if you're not in love. Which they're killing each other so they're not in love. But I guess it's just in a paranoid way, their senses are like that. So narrower, the sharpness of narrow, not the sharpness of blossomed. Anyway, so the point is, so they lit their base is a movie theater, they're playing chess, and they're like asking each other, like, what is that? Like, oh, it's like a movie theater, like they used to watch things on this. And so the fireflies are walking by and catch them. One of the hunters catch them walking, and then they fight, right? It's the most violent shit in the world. And it's supposed to make people go, what is the point of this? Does this kid just like gore? Is he just a gore porn kid? Is he one of those edgy kids? Right? And then right at the last 10 seconds, when the last, because one guy's left standing, Firefly, he goes into the bathroom and he finds a baby. And you don't know whose baby it is. It's one of the hunter's babies, of course, but like you still don't know. It's vaguely mentioned who it is, but like you'll still not know. Like I don't know, right? So who knows? And the last shot is of this baby just drenched in the light. So anyone who was like, what is this kid's issue with all this violence is correct, because they get snapped with that baby right at the end, and it's like, exactly, what's the point of all this violence? Like, think of the kids. Now they grew up in that shit. Did his parents just die? Like what was that baby just absorbed that energy? And anyone who's watching it who's like ejaculating because of the violence gets slapped in the face with the baby at the end. Like, why ejaculating to this violence, huh? Why are you ejaculating to it? Think of the children. But I don't know if I should do that. They have it now. They have the script, so if that pops out of nowhere, then I hope they don't corrupt it though. Like that's where it's supposed to end. Because now what's that baby gonna grow up do? Have a real tough time getting through it. And will either fall into it and be violent itself, or really have to go through a lot of shit and change the world. But that's the point of that. So I just wrote heavy violence in order to talk about stop the violence. And yeah, that's the message. Stop the violence. It's waste. GTA 6 waste. Like they should just stop doing it. There's so many better games. So many ways to be more creative. Little Gator game. That's what I was talking about before. Play that. That is the most legendary game. A short hike. A short hike and Little Gator game are the type of games like they make your eyes well up, your heart flutter, you're a little giggling at the dialogue. Like these are the games that make you feel emotions, not these point A to point B, shoot, 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 point A to point B, shoot, 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 shoot. Waste. 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 All you actors, Don't accept that role. I know it's 50 mil. Don't accept that role. You already have 51 mil. It's blood money, essentially. Only accept family-friendly, loving things, man. That's art. The other stuff is just media. Because we're eventually all gonna think it's trash. Anyway, I'll put that email up now. And I'm out. I don't have nothing else to say. Oh yeah, this, live this. Look at this. This game right here. I'm hyping, right? I'm thinking I got this guy. I'm thinking I'm checkmating this guy like he's done. I'm like, yo, you're gone. Your king at every single angle is collapsed. You're already checkmated. I'm hyping. I'm telling her dad, I'm like, yo, I'm about to checkmate this guy. I'm like 390 ELO. He's like almost 1600. He's like 1500 something ELO. I'm about to checkmate a 1500 ELO. And then, that's what he does. That's what he does. Look what he does. I thought I was the sickest. I thought I was the sickest. And then that's what he does. Anyway, here's the email. Man, I wish I had the DM, the Quentin DM, because I added a little more stuff at the end of it. I even emailed Elon. I don't need to tell about that. Who cares about that? Should I tell? I guess. I remember emailing Elon and I was like, should I put that email up? I feel like it'll give the email more energy if a lot of people read it. I'm cheesed. Like everyone's gotta do this. I emailed Elon and I'm like, yo, Neuralink, just stop. Bro, just stop. Like I know you wanna be go down as this great inventor, but just stop. Just stop Neuralink. Like the transport stuff you do is sick, but Neuralink is trash. It's just a pill. It's just an electronic drug. Like it's just a drug. You cannot be at one with God with Neuralink in you. So you should just stop it. Any issues that you think it's going to heal for people, it doesn't truly heal the root cause. And I told him, like, a person at one with a God can checkmate a super hyper cybered up Neuralinked human easy. I should put the email up. I'll put those emails up. If I can find the Ubisoft one, I'll put it up. If I can find the Tarantino one, I'll put it up too. Like that'll be nice to find those two. Those were a long time ago, the Tarantino one and the Ubisoft one. Like when I first told him to make the Jules Winfield Man of God. Man, I wish I had the Tarantino deal. It's just the same thing though. Anyway, here they are. Peace in the Middle East. All the best in the West. Yo, what was it? I said peace in the Middle East, all the best in the Midwest. Go forth to the North. Like forth to God. And keep your mouth to the south, I guess. Keep your mouth to the south, like to the truth of a reality. Let me think of another thing. No, that sounds good. Peace in the Middle East, all the best in the Midwest. Go forth to the north, keep your mouth to the south. Didn't I do it for you? And also, I forgot to touch on the sexual violence. This is waste. This OnlyFans type deal, prostitution, any of that type of sexual violence, selling the self, this is damaging. This is damaging to the soul, to the body, to the spirit, to the universe, to everything. It's damaging. It's waste. It's an addiction. It's an addiction. It's a addiction for all parties involved. So stop.